This video is brought to you by Raycon. My goodness, everybody. It's Loki episode 6 time, isn't it, Mason?
The big finale.
Well, that time has already passed, and now it's time for this video and or audio track if you're listening at bigsandwich.co immediately after we record these.
Folks, James, I think the folks know how the passage of time works. They've watched this TV series Loki, and now they get it.
Well, I thought maybe some things were left unanswered, Mason, and maybe the folks think that also.
Maybe. I'd like to hear about this.
Leave a like if you could, because there's a lot going on in this video. And Collings, he fires these out, and we got these over to him a little bit later this week. So give him a hand, and we're going to give him some editing help along the way. Say, for example, he's like, oh, this is a really difficult thing to animate. He can just have one of those wavy lines. Maybe there'll just be a picture of Dan Aykroyd.
Maybe just a static picture of Dan Aykroyd.
Maybe this will be here for at least a minute.
Yeah,
this picture of Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, that's right.
That's up to him.
Yeah. Then it's going to morph into something amazing.
No, it's not, Mason.
Hand-drawn animation.
So we're going to be going over the Citadel at the end of time. Mm-hmm. So Kang, or sort of, we'll talk about that.
A Citadel, you never want to end up in a Citadel. Nothing good ever happens in a Citadel.
Nothing good, or maybe in the next season, a great thing will happen in the Citadel. So the backstory of the person in the Citadel, multiple timelines, what happened to Renslayer, the relationship between Loki and Sylvie.
Did Mobius ever get his jet ski?
No, Mason, he didn't. Maybe.
Season 2.
Maybe it is. Maybe in the Citadel. Maybe that's the good thing that happens.
Maybe.
The ending, of course, the post-credits, the future of the series. And we're going to go through some things that were cut, Mason.
Oh, really? Okay.
Along the way. Just a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. So it starts with a bit of a time-bendy Marvel intro, doesn't it, Mason? I switched on the subtitles because I'm like, who's talking here?
It was a mix of characters from Marvel movies and TV series, stuff, recent stuff, and then they mixed in some real-life people, including Greta Thunberg, and, of course, Australian pop princess Kylie Minogue. Got a little clip in there.
Look at.
Yeah. Who's a fan of Kylie Minogue on the production team there, I wonder?
Great question.
Probably
Let
everyone.
us know. Probably everybody.
Yeah.
A national treasure. Right. I mean, she lives in England, but, you know.
Yeah, that's only because we kicked her out. For having too much talent. That's what we do with all Australians.
It's true.
If you're still in Australia, you got no talent.
Beat it.
Yeah.
No, you have to stay here.
Yeah.
Unless you could do something great.
That's why we're here.
So it's Sam, Hope, Black Panther, Thor, Captain America, Peter Quill, Hank Pym, Captain Marvel, Hulk, Korg, Indistinct Chatter. I don't know, it must be an upcoming character. And a bunch of real-world people as well, as you mentioned. So what do you think about the weird castle, though, at the end of time?
I liked it.
Yeah, so the clock pops up and it's like, boo, I'm a clock.
Yeah. Miss Minutes, yes. It's interesting look. It's interesting that whoever was behind the TVA chose the sort of 1970s kind of brown aesthetic, but their own home is kind of spooky and magic and gothic. Well,
apparently the whole thing, the idea of the production design for it was, and we'll talk about this because it also helps with the same person in a different interview. Kasra Farahani said that the idea was that the whole thing was carved out of the meteor or the asteroid that they're sitting on, and that's why it's black stone with like gold lining throughout it. That was the idea.
Do you think that's an Easter egg? Do you think there's a relevant asteroid? Do you think it's the asteroid from Asteroids?
Could be the asteroid from Asteroids. Here's that picture of Dan Aykroyd, so nobody needs to find a footage from Asteroids. But so apparently though there's hints towards it in earlier episodes. That black and gold kind of motif, and of course in the before we get to He Who Remains, the clock pops up and says like, listen, I'll give you everything you want. You know, you can defeat the Avengers and give you the Infinity Gauntlet. You'll kill Thanos, you'll rule Asgard, and Sylvie, you can have whatever you want to.
How is she going to do that though? Because if the goal of the person behind the TVA remains to prune all the timelines, are they just going to stick him in stasis somewhere or in a one of those time loop realities, or alter their memories, or
maybe it is
just chop their heads off?
Maybe it's to get them thinking about, because there's a point in time when it's not fixed anymore and anything can happen. So it'd be like, just prepare yourself for this because you're gonna have some options in a few minutes.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a little sword fight, then you're gonna have some options.
That's right. Or maybe you just go into you open a door and there's just a cupboard and there's a photo of you defeating the Avengers. It's just like just a badly photoshopped photo of you defeating the Avengers, and you're like, and then you get clubbed over the back of the head.
Yeah.
What's he doing here?
So it was Kang. But it wasn't really Kang.
It's a Kang.
It's a Kang.
Yeah.
So it's Nathaniel Richards, and who's that?
Does he say specifically that he's Nathaniel Richards in there?
I believe so, doesn't
Does
he?
he? I don't know if he gives his name.
Well,
he says he was a scientist in the 31st century.
Yes, which is a Nathaniel Richards type.
Yeah.
But who's that, essentially? If it was.
Oh, it's a descendant of Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four,
and
who is going to be played by John Krasinski, obviously.
That's right. And potentially maybe did some Doctor Doom in there.
Oh yeah, sure, maybe.
It's kind of unclear.
But I wonder if they would introduce. Do you think? But maybe they would give him the name and then work backwards and go.
Yeah, right.
And now we'll introduce his heroic, precedent.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
Mate, that's entirely possible. So
this is Jonathan Majors.
Yes.
Who has been cast as Kang the Conqueror in future movies.
At least Ant-Man at this point. Yeah.
But this is a Kang the Conqueror. This is not necessarily the Kang the Conqueror.
It might not even be someone who calls themselves Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah,
because he doesn't always.
No, he
call himself
mentions that he's been called a Conqueror.
Yeah,
but he's not the specific one. But he is one of this. We got there was a lot of exposition this episode.
Yeah.
It was very much the architect from the Matrix Reloaded. If you remember that guy.
Do I ever?
And yet, edge of my seat. This
was much more.
I enjoy this a lot, and I think it is definitely down to this performance of Jonathan Majors as a man who has apparently lived for millions of years.
Yeah,
and he's
jack of it.
He's absolutely jack of it. He wants to. He's got this mission that he is very intent on, keeping this universe intact. But he's also doesn't want to do it anymore, and he's deranged.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. But also,
he's lived for millions of years,
knowing that he can also come back through reincarnation, which I'd like to know more about that, please.
Well, I would guess that is, if you like, because obviously, spoilers for this episode, by the way, he does get stabbed to death.
Yeah.
But my feeling is, if we, the audience, respond positively to this very specific version of the character, we can bring him back with quote-unquote reincarnation.
Yeah, right.
If we need to, they can just be like, yeah, he's going to come back in the present day. So there he is, kind of thing.
He's got the same clothes. That's how you know.
That's how you know, yeah.
That's how you know.
He's got that wink in his eye, you know?
So like most versions of Kang, or whoever, just this guy.
Let's call him Kang.
Yeah, let's call him Kang.
Kang number one, big number one Kang boy.
He doesn't have any powers.
No.
So his powers is technology, specifically time travel. He'd pre-programmed all of the movements in, so when they'd go to attack him, he would disappear, which
like one of those robots you could program at school back in the day.
Oh yeah,
get him to move slightly over the span of an hour, and then somebody else would get a go. You never get him to do anything interesting.
I remember that. Yeah. Represented here by just that
Dan
picture
Aykroyd.
of Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, and he's got what is either a very primitive version of the TemPad that the TVA have, or a massively more advanced version. It's tough to say because it looks more primitive. It's sort of got it looks like a piece of asteroid or meteor or something like that with some sort of golden veins going through it. But it can also do that kind of molten metal. You know how the
Man of Steel kind of. Pin art situation.
Everybody's got a new version of the pin art, an upgraded version of the pin art. He can show us some little stories on it.
That's it. So also, I did write down the names of things he called himself. A ruler, a conqueror, he who remains, a jerk. So 31st century scientist, discovered the multiverse, as did other versions of him. They all met themselves and worked together. The peace was shattered because some of them were jerks. So a time war, multiverse war happened. Eventually he harnessed the power of Goliath, scooped everybody up, yum, yum, yum. Kept not all of them.
Goliath being the big cloud monster dog, yes.
Kept him at bay. And he says that, listen, you think I'm bad. There's a guy he's probably got a gun.
It's me, but with a gun. Look, my hands are empty. I don't have any guns. It's interesting that he then formed the TVA and created the lie of the timekeep because he went, well, people won't believe me if I say that the multiverse if this universe will be destroyed by multiversal, warfare. If I say that it's
because they're going to look like me, they're going to be variations on me. That's a bit sus.
So what'll I do? I'll say 3 guys saved the day. They won't believe 1 guy saved the day.
3 lizard men. Yeah. So do you think these timelines already exist and he's locked them out? Or do you think, are they potential timelines or are they real timelines that can't access this timeline?
That's a great question. And I think it's been left deliberately vague enough so if they need a certain amount of leeway in future movies, they can decide which is the best one. But it seemed to me the idea that there's always been multiple timelines, but what he has done with the creation of the TVA has at the very least cut this universe off from all the other ones. Maybe that's what the branching timelines are. It's reaching out to other.
If you hit that point, you're going to get a Kang.
You're going to get a Kang probably that's going to come through. So I think what he's done is he's suppressed them for millions of years.
Yes.
And now, unlocking them now has led. Now there's a multiverse of madness, James.
It's coming. It's coming in a big way.
What do you think Kang's day-to-day life looks like?
I think it's whatever.
Because obviously he created the TVA, and they're constantly just pruning timelines left and right. But he did that ages ago. Is he just hanging out?
Well, I guess,
out this end of time?
I think that's exactly it. I think he set up the perfect timeline to get to this point. It's
to slack off, then slack off.
Yeah, you know, to get as much done as possible early on. He's like, this is the good one. Yeah. And then we'll see what happens. So, I think he's just been literally just banging about.
So what do you think the multiverse... Because, I mean, what he suggested was that he discovered that there's always been universes stacked upon one another.
Yeah.
So do you think that those tendrils, those breaches are reaching out to other universes, or do you think that every variant that exists is creating a new universe?
I think it's probably both.
Great.
I think there's some that already exist, and we'll probably see that in like the Spider-Man movie. Yeah. And I think there's some that are created directly as a result of various variants.
Of course, variants can appear at any point during the timeline.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you're right.
This is a great conversation just to have the wavy line, don't you think?
Or Dan Aykroyd.
Whatever, both.
Flying through the timeline.
No, Mason.
Hand-drawn animation. Now that free will has been reinstigated, I guess, to some degree, we'll see. These alternate timelines are going to pop up at every point throughout history. So
we literally have to see, or someone in charge of the show would just explain what's going to happen next.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's mentioned also that Renslayer was seen that she's from the year 2018, or a version of her where she was a principal,
which explains the
pen. So what was she doing there?
Being the principal.
I mean, like, what was the idea? Like, did she know that? Did she know who she was?
No, it seems to me that what B-15 was doing was luring some of the fellow TVA agents to that location so they would see that she wasn't created by the TVA, but she was a real person before she was...
Do you think she knows that she was a real person, though?
Oh...
Who cares?
Yeah, I think at this point she does.
Yeah.
But I think everybody, but she wants to keep the secret away from all the other TVA agents. And the only way that it can be proven that she is to go back to 2018 from where she was. Yeah. I'm assuming pruned from that reality because she picked up the wrong pen or gave the wrong grade to a student or something like that.
She also mentions that she's had eons of friendship with Owen Wilson. So we get some sense of how long they've been working together. Eons, it turns out.
Sometimes you work, you're at a job for like a year and you're like, God, this has been eons. So
I hate everybody here. Yeah. I hate the lunchroom.
I see infinite possibilities, but none of them are here. It's always the same in the lunchroom.
So Loki's turned a corner, probably still as a result of seeing that montage of his life, his horrible, horrible life.
Yes.
So he just, for him, all he wants is Sylvie to be okay, and she's like,
well, I'd rather kill this guy. Actually,
we'll do the kiss.
Yeah,
I'll do that part, but then I'm going to stab this man.
I want to do a kiss and a kill.
Yeah, that's right.
I've never done a kiss and a kill in the one day.
Yeah. And then I guess just to jump to the ending.
Well, spoilers.
Spoiler alerts. Loki is then pushed into what seems like a parallel reality.
Yes, he assumes he's gone back to the regular TVA.
Yes.
But when he confronts Mobius got no idea who he is.
That's right.
Which might be a prank, obviously.
Yeah, but it's probably not because of the big statue. So it could be a prank.
You can put in a statue.
Great prank. Imagine changing a statue for a prank.
Can you name any YouTuber they would put in a different statue as a prank?
You're right. You're
and the TVA has way more resources than any YouTuber. Mr. Beast.
So I don't know about that. So Kasrat Farahani said again on this. He assured Marvel.com that the entire set dressing of the TVA architecture was identical to the TVA. We started with the series in order to delay the audience and Loki's understanding that they were in a different place. They were in a different timeline now. Or also, that's way easier than building a.
I mean, if you want to annoy the set builders, you just build a second set. Just build a second TVA set that is just a slightly different color. Thank you.
I think it's also a possibility at this point that Renslayer is working with Kang
because they are traditionally in the comic books a boyfriend and girlfriend.
That's right. They are a boyfriend and a girlfriend.
Yes.
It's time, everybody, and about time, I say, to talk about Raycon, this week's sponsor. Raycon is disrupting the electronics industry by making great sound for everyone. Their wireless earbuds start at half the price of the premium audio brands, and I love that Raycon offers their wireless earbuds in a range of fun colours and patterns, with a variety of fit options. They 100% pass the head-shaking test, and there's no dangling wires or stems. The company was also co-founded by Ray J, with celebrities like Snoop Dogg being obsessed with Raycons. Raycon also has a 45-day free return policy, which is great, because if you're not entirely happy with your purchase, well, you return them, you return them back. Raycon earbuds give you 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design for a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. For me personally, I use them around the house, taking the dog for a walk, doing a big basketball game, trampolining. And that battery life, my goodness, it's absolutely shocking how long it lasts. Shocking, I tell you. So if you want to help out this channel, and yourself even, click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/MrSundayMovies to get 15% off your Raycon purchase. That's buyraycon.com/MrSundayMovies to get 15% off. On with the video. So normally the TVA exists kind of outside of the timeline. That's the idea. But I guess at this point, just anything goes, right?
Well, I mean, the question here is, has Loki fallen into a parallel dimensions TVA where Kang openly founded the TVA, which is why his statue is there?
Yeah.
Or is it possible that, as opposed to in Avengers Endgame, now Back to the Future rules do exist?
Right, yeah.
Where in going back, maybe someone has gone back and altered the timeline.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So it's the same reality that Loki is from, but this time reality's been altered. But this would suggest that in this universe, there are no Lokis at all.
Yeah, well, because they don't recognize him.
Because Mobius would recognize him as a version of Loki at the very least.
I guess it's possible that Kang has already killed all of them also.
Yeah.
But I think it's a different place entirely.
But do you think somehow Mobius will get his memories back in the second season?
Yeah, he'll convince him or whatever.
Yeah.
We work together, whatever.
But what's interesting, I think, as well, is that in this situation, we have the series ends with Loki at the TVA and Sylvie at the Citadel at the end of time.
Yes.
At this point, they're in opposition, and they're both in. They both have I assume the Citadel has some resources. Probably. I mean, yeah.
Maybe a gun.
Maybe there's a gun in there.
So Shulky Prince says Loki was sent to an alternate timeline because Sylvie didn't know how Kang's tempad worked.
Maybe.
But did she use his or did she use her own? I didn't catch that.
No,
Here's the footage.
I think she used... Well, actually, that's a great question. I think she used her own.
Where's the footage?
Because he was still wearing... There's the footage.
And here's that picture of Dan Aykroyd.
There's the footage with some big yellow text that says, I'm wrong, all right. Underneath it, so... Yeah.
So the post...
Dan Aykroyd is saying it.
He's not saying anything.
Right. We got Dan Aykroyd to do a
still
cameo.
Image. It's
where
a
he
still
says
image.
that I'm right or wrong about
He's just...
Sylvie.
Even if we did, he'd just talk about Crystal Head vodka. It wouldn't be worth the money.
No, it's very true.
The post-credits, though, just quickly, it's not anything. It's just like season 2, which I guess is something because that means that there's
This is
the
the first Marvel TV series from this run that has a season 2 confirmed.
A confirmed one, yeah, because we are getting another Captain America movie and Wanda's turning up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Though, not that, different one, Doctor Strange.
Yes.
That one. So the Hollywood Reporter have just reported that Loki is set to return also in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh.
I think also there's a chance he's going to show up. The very least, the ramifications of this are going to bleed over into Spider-Man Far From Home because that's going to deal with multiple Spider-Man.
No Way Home.
That's whatever, Mason. It's whatever the next one is. There's just a wavy line at this point, okay?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. But you're right.
Yeah.
We are recording this very late. And I don't know if you saw this, there was a hot toy reveal of a black and gold magic Spider-Man suit reveal, which has got
magic suit?
It's got like a magic symbol on the chest.
Like a rune of some sort.
Yeah, and it shoots magic webbing.
Whoa.
Which could be a number of things. One, it's a new Spider-Man suit that's built for him by like Wong and Doctor Strange. Or
new dad suit.
That's new dad suit.
He's got a new dad, he needs a new suit.
Exactly.
The new dad has to prove his new dad love by giving him a new Spider-Man suit.
Or he's the new Sorcerer Supreme in another dimension.
Whoa.
So anyway, we'll see. Here's some things that were cut just quickly, Mason, before we do some opinions of people who wrote in.
Okay, great.
We didn't see King Loki. There was images of that in the trailers. King Loki like ruling and being like, I'm in charge.
Right.
I wonder if that was a moment that they went, you could have all of this.
Oh, and they cut for time, maybe? Yeah,
you could be the king.
Or maybe, James, they've already filmed season 2 and it's coming out next week. We can exclusively reveal.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's exciting. I can't wait for next week.
Can't wait either.
And the other thing is, I don't know if you saw this, but they actually filmed a scene with Chris Hemsworth as the voice of Throg beating up Loki when he arrives in the TVA. And they cut it out. And they were like, it didn't work for time or whatever. You put that in.
Make it work for time. You cowards.
Yeah, I wanted that more than anything.
What? That's astounding.
Yeah, but
I guess if you got a Throg,
yeah,
if you got a Throg, you got to use a Throg, I guess. So
yeah,
then people would be like, why isn't he helping Loki the whole way through the series?
They must have caught him in the jar and shot him into the other.
Yeah, maybe shot him in the void. Yeah.
Anyway, this is from Adam Weir, who says, did you notice that this version of Kang / Immortus, one of Kang's aliases,
Ramatut.
That's right, was a lot like the version of the Axis of Time in the episode Beyond Good and Evil in the X-Men animated series Loki? No, I did not notice that. I also didn't
notice that, no. Yeah. No.
But I believe you. Audrey will...
Because I'm normally going for runs on Saturday mornings instead of watching cartoons for children.
No, he's not.
No, absolutely not. I've never woken up on a Saturday morning. It's always midday at the earliest.
Audrey Wilson says, so is season 2 where we're going to see a romance between Kang and Ravana, right? I can see the next season will be a big arc for her, possibly falling in love with him for all the wrong reasons and to realise how toxic he is by the end. Totally. I think that relationship will definitely expand because she's committed to whatever this thing is.
Yeah. He's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, awkward.
But, another version.
A bad version, yeah.
And Fornelly says they will never run out of movie ideas for a while after this. That's kind of a contradictory statement. Never run out and for a while. But, yeah, this has opened up. I mean, we knew a bunch of these movies kind of were coming and also What If, I think, is probably going to tie into this somehow. But, yeah, absolutely right.
And, yeah, it's...
You're going to talk about how on our podcast, The Weekly Planet, on Monday, which goes up early, bigsandwich.co a day early, we have to talk about Space Jam.
We've gone to our head. we're required to talk about Space Jam, a new legacy.
That's right.
What a bold title for what is probably going to be a terrible movie.
Don't say that, Mason.
Okay. A little bit of sizzle.
But you're right.
Do you mean definitely terrible? That's what you mean.
Anything else before we wrap it up?
No, liked it. Good finale, I think. But I would understand if people like boring, no exposition, didn't like it.
I liked it for that reason, though. Yeah. I want some explanations, goddammit.
I think maybe there should have been a little bit more show and not tell.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, I'd rather see some more of the multiversal war, or maybe just Jonathan Majors wrestling with himself, as opposed to just the little magnetic metal.
Okay, sure.
Thing. But
I'm sure we're going to get some Jonathan Majors wrestling with himself. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, anyways, as mentioned, we've got a podcast. We have a service called Big Sandwich where we're a bunch of stuff. Early podcast, bonus podcast, movie commentaries, all sorts of things. We've recently done the Iron Man movies for Caravan of Garbage. If you do want to check those out, and there'll probably be some other Loki. I'll probably do squeeze in one more Loki video.
Says Caravan of Garbage, but it's an Iron Man movie. What do you think about that? Maybe you should click it because you'd be like, oh, that's not right.
We rubbish everyone's favourite movie.
That's right.
Iron Man 2.
I better watch it to its completion and then leave a comment and the like.
That's right. But no, we appreciate you watching all of these. We'll be back for What If, but we'll probably maybe just do them as audio versions or whatever.
Yeah.
But, we'll see how we go. Thank you again so much to Collins for getting these done. Such a quick turnaround. Amazing edit. This one, I hope he pulled back quite a bit. You know what I mean? I hope there were so many pictures of Dan Aykroyd's and wavy lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the good thing is we've made it part of the video. It's a joke. You know what I mean?
It's not laziness.
It's not laziness. It's a joke. It's a joke. Don't you get it?
But then here's the big reveal.
It's the end. Now we're in the title card.
Yeah,
so there can't be a reveal here.
Yeah,
all right. I'm at Mr. Sunday Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Wikipedia Banner on Twitter.
Leave your bloody comments or whatever. Leave your theories.
On Twitter.
Leave your theories. Goodbye.
Grab that jammy, guys. We'll see you next week.